to destroy a franchise that I love, because this is the worst movie, I think, in the sequel trilogy. So
Let me bring up my notes.
dig in. I'll let you start because I started off the Civil War thing.
Oh boy, you sure about that? Because I can go for fucking hours here.
And as of, I think, last
to the
time,
top of my notes.
I said I would try to take my fandom out of this. I'll try my best, but I'll probably bring it up. So
I ain't too great. I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not balls deep into the lore and shit. But all right. So
he took notes, everybody.
Oh,
lots of notes.
I wouldn't really say notes. It's more like I just asked myself questions. So why does nobody shoot Poe down? But at the very beginning, there's the title card saying that like the Resistance are on the ropes, and I'm like, why? Why the fuck are the Resistance running? They just killed Star Killer Base. Like, the First Order is a burgeoning empire. I don't know.
Oh no, they have
burgeoning power.
This is the problem we talked about before. They have apparently unlimited resources. Basically, the people that should have died on Starkiller Base also survived, and they're just like fine. And they've even got like way better, bigger technology. So don't worry about it. Don't put any logic to how the First Order works.
Yeah, there's burgeoning superpower that just lost their incredibly OP and probably expensive super weapon, but this picks up right after that movie, and for some reason the Resistance are the ones on the run.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are on the
sense.
fucking ropes. And fucking the Resistance is boarding the Raditz and a couple of support ships from their base, and Poe is stalling by flying his X-Wing to the enemy fleet.
Yeah, and doing like yo mama jokes and stuff.
But even before then, it's just this lone X-Wing that's flying up to the fleet, and they don't shoot.
It's dumb.
And there's a line, there's a throwaway line that's like, oh, he's not engaged in like fight mode or whatever. Yeah. But you're the fucking bad guys.
Yeah, like,
obliterate him and blow up
like,
the base.
Who cares?
And especially because Hugs answers it. He's like, I will not accept surrender.
Yeah.
Just if you want, I will make this a quick and painless death. Just fucking shoot him.
Shoot him, yeah. Like, just end it. It's just like, it's literally, they're just trying, I think, the Marvel thing. Like, they wanted
it's funny
jokey,
because you can look, it reads like, Marvel.
They're trying to do the jokey thing, but they don't get how this stuff works. Like there's no reason for that. And like, I think Hux was actually kind of like, yes, he is kind of like a yes man and stuff in the first movie, but he's very like strict and like, I need this to happen and stuff.
My phone autocorrected Hux to Hucks. So his name's Hux now.
Hux. But like, they just make him immediately into a joke. Like they throw away
hard. I got
so many characters they throw away in this movie, like just for no reason.
But I wrote the quote tooling end quote scene is a bit too Marvel in execution. It makes General Hux seem like an idiot instead of a rival for Kylo, because you could, like you said, he does seem like a yes man, but he seemed like a credible rival in the first or the 8th movie. Or 7th. I can do math.
Yep.
He seemed like a credible rival. He seemed like somebody that might be able to usurp Kylo despite not having the Force or a lightsaber.
It's just like even like Moff
Gideon? Isn't that?
Grand Moff Tarkin. Like,
thank you.
He's actually like the one that ran the military part of the Empire.
He
so it's
had
like
sway over Vader.
He was bigger than Vader in that military, and that's like who Hux was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But for some reason, instead, they just make him into an idiot.
Yeah, and I was just very, very confused. Anyways, the tooling scene's over and the space battle continues, and there's a line like, he's too fast and small for surface cannons. But isn't that the fucking art surface cannons meant to shoot these things down? Like,
yeah, like their surface cannons are only meant for gigantic ships, I guess. Like, that makes no sense.
Why don't they send out the fucking TIE fighters while he's destroying the surface cannons?
They eventually do. They're like, hey, we'll send out the TIE fighters to go after them. But they don't do that, I don't think, until the bombers show up.
Yeah, they don't.
I just think they're like, he's not going to do that much damage. It's just, I don't know.
But I I don't know, because they try to build Poe in the first movie. They build Poe up like this super amazing, totally badass pilot, and now they're just like, well, the only reason he's pulling this off is because his ship's way too small and fast for our
it makes no sense.
Cannons. So now it's like, oh, Poe's super badass. He's doing the impossible. But no, it's just he's flying a ship that's, I guess...
Yeah, because if they just said he's too fast, instead of, like, our surface cannons can't get him, then you're just like, oh, he is just too fast. Like, he's too good.
I can't even say he's flying, like, better tech, because he's flying a fucking X-Wing that's been around since the OT trilogy.
They didn't design anything new for these
No, they did. The bombers. Those fucking bombers. We'll get to that.
The bombers are in the other movies.
Are they?
Yes, they just don't really use them, but those
I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, okay. Are we up to the bombers now? Because here's a big flaw, I think, in this. Hey, guys, I want you to let you know how space works. There's no weight. The weight does not matter. So you could put any kind of rocket on a ship, and it doesn't need to move like a mile per hour. So these bombers have no reason to be going as slow as they are. They're literally like not moving at all. And you're like,
first off, where did they even come from? Huh? Because the scene itself...
they just show up.
Yeah, there's like nothing flying away. And then like the next scene, they do like immediate cut. It's not like time has passed. It's an immediate like action cut. and they're just on the battlefield like
Nobody noticed. No one. Not the like rebellion or resistance. Sorry, you can't call them the rebellion.
So
the resistance nor the empire noticed that all these ships showed up.
Also... I mean, I guess it's okay because now you said they appear in other movies. They do exist. But, like, don't the Y-Wings still exist? Weren't those literally the bombers that they use to, like, destroy Star Destroyers?
I guess this is because, like, they can... Like, I think, really, those ships are in other movies, but you never see them. So I think they just named them as bombers because they're really long, and then they could just have bombs down through, like, the whole thing. So it's kind of cool that you're like... Well, we filled in what these kind of like ships do. That's just like even like Rogue One. Why are they
using them?
Yeah, I know. But then even in like Rogue One, we had the Hammerhead ships in other movies, but we never saw them do what they're supposed to do. So we finally see them actually like ram a ship. I was
trying to be so unbiased for this, but looking through my notes, I was kind of spiteful because I was writing this while I was watching it. I was like, Why have these slow-moving pieces of shit? Why is technology regressing? They're slow, their armor's garbage, their shields are damn near non-existent, they're large, their fucking attack power seems bad. I really just didn't like this,
it doesn't make any sense.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, even down to that scene, like, you could have made that scene so much faster and still made the sister die and it still have emotional impact. Like, I think it's
emotional impact.
Well, I mean, like, you're supposed to feel something, so you make a connection to Rose. Then that she like
anger
grabs the thing and like kisses it and stuff. But like, you didn't need this whole scene to play out that makes no sense.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, like it's just so dumb. Like down to that, and it's like I almost guarantee even like just standing back up, climbing back up the ladder would have been faster than. Like just hoping it works, and then clearly also them filming that stupid freaking shot of like the thing falling past her.
Yeah,
looks so dumb because it looks like it's way too far for her to grab.
Oh yeah,
and then it's
definitely.
Literally just like in her hand like this, and you're like, the camera panned past her face. Like
that scene is a very bad one. But hold on, so I do want to at least stop all this hate to give credit where credit is due. The scene of the last bomber just flying across the fucking dreadnought, that is a beautiful shot. It is stunning. I like the look of it. Context makes it fucking retarded, but I mean, I gotta give credit. If we're going to critique this movie, you gotta point out the good with the bad. But
there's not gonna be much of it.
Most of the good is superficial surface elements like music and the way things look, but. So, these ships are pretty garbage, really. Mm-hmm. And we get down to Paige is... Yeah, it's Paige. Paige is the Asian Rose's sister.
Okay, yeah.
So the final bomber, Poe's radioing them. He's like, you gotta drop your load. You're over the dreadnought. Drop the load. Nix is the name of the pilot of that final bomber. He's dead.
Mm-hmm.
These bombers have been shown to be paper mache that self-destruct if anything touches them.
So
how is he
that
dead?
Guy die?
Like, there's no damage
the whole
even
thing
to the
didn't blow
fucking. There's no even real damage. It's just like he's slumped over dead. So
well, they kind of like treated it almost more like it's a aircraft, like being shot by like anti-aircraft stuff. Because like in a World War II movie, this would make sense. So anti-aircraft shots almost work by like exploding as they impact. So they send shrapnel all through it. So, like, I feel like that's what they were going through that kills the pilot. But I'm like, these
TIE fighters don't have that.
Yeah, and I'm like, these are laser beams.
Pew,
They're
pew,
not.
pew.
They're not like a anti-aircraft shell, but they're just like, hey, that's the logic we just made up.
Also, like, so why is it that apparently like just the pilot, Nix, the guy that's dead, can drop them? Like, Paige was the gunner of that ship.
Why would you not give that person?
Why can she not have the
dropping
options? Why? This is Star Wars. This isn't fucking space. You got AI and shit. Why can't you just be like, random droid thingy, drop the payload?
Yeah. Well, like, I think it's because they're supposed to have like good technology, but like jank technology, but like, why is your bomb dropping connected to a remote in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, even on actual bombers and ships are like on the control panel, like just so you could have this dumb scene where she kicks a ladder to try to get the bomb switch. Like, that's literally why you wrote that way. Like, there's no actual like legit smart reason to have the bombing switch, like to drop your bombs
So
as like a handheld container.
I got another thing to bitch about, and it's I don't care about whatever mechanism or whatever allows the bombs to fall. My thing is, you're opening your cargo hall where people are and everything. There's nothing preventing it. You're opening it up to space.
Yeah.
The vacuum of space. And normally I'd just be like, okay, you just throw in a fucking line real quick to be like, shields activated.
Yeah.
Or
Or
something
at
like
least
that.
make it like a blue thing. Like
Yes.
they've done in, I think, even other Star Wars
Yeah, like,
movies
it's-
of being like a thing that you can drop things through, but it can't come up in. Or
Yeah, and that's like all you needed, because I don't know, it was really stupid. Where was I? Yeah, they could have really just did a throwaway line. But my question is, so you're watching the bombs fall from the ship, they hit the surface of the dreadnought, and there's a chain reaction as the explosions travel up the bombs that are falling that self-destruct the ship.
Yeah.
So these ships are retarded.
Yeah.
Like,
They should almost go into like a self-destruct kind of thing of being like, just die for the ship then that you're trying to bomb,
like,
instead of just being like,
go over
it
the
just
target.
blows up.
I do like the scene watching it blow up. I'm not going to lie. Again, something good about the movie. It's very cinematic. It looks beautiful.
But also, like, did they like? Maybe someone much nerdier than myself can explain why just hitting that exact spot blew up the whole entire thing, when even like the Death Star or any other ship can get blown up in multiple different locations, but not actually destroy the whole ship.
Because Paige is a Force user. She used the Force to make sure the third bomb
Send it up the
fell
exhaust
down,
port.
Yes, and it fell
Yeah.
completely down and
'Cause
detonated
that's
the
what
entire
made
dreadnought.
one thing I was like, this is a dreadnought. Like, this is like the most powerful thing they have. Like, clearly
They sound
you
powerful.
could probably blow off like half of that ship and then still like close every door and be like, this thing still exists. Like, it's that big. And
Well, I guess that's why they're using these retarded ass bombers
Yeah.
instead of a Y-wing, because they can nuke a dreadnought.
yeah, because they don't even seem like nukes. It's just like,
I just meant nuke as.
yeah,
a
I
big
know, but I
bird.
mean like a thing that would be like a nuclear bomb that would somehow just like vaporize with like radioactiveness, destroy a whole ship. But these are literally just like
Kaboom booms.
bombs, like like something that like Wile E. Coyote would use.
So, Finn wakes up
Yes.
looking pretty stupid. Also, he's perfectly fine without any lingering effects of being slashed through the back by a fucking lightsaber.
Yeah.
He's quick to
Not
ask about
crippled
Rey.
or needs any kind of extra assistance. He's just
No, he's
fine.
A-okay.
Yeah.
He's quick to ask about Rey, which is in line with the sad character he's become.
You know, like, he cares about her. It makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
but like I don't.
the biggest thing to me is they just gave up on this character. Like, Finn, I think, is like kind of awesome in the first movie. Like, he has a lot of character. He jokes around, but man, they dropped the ball on him so bad. Like, teaming him up with Rose, then we'll probably talk plenty about that because it's like one of the worst parts of this movie. But like, that's just like, you just took a character that like people actually liked and respected and threw him into like the garbage because you literally just made extra characters for no reason. Which that's one of my other big problems with these movies is they just keep making characters and then don't build like any of them. But okay, Finn looks dumb.
So, well, to go with it, because you're like, he cares for Rey. I can understand the moment when he wakes up in the thing, he's like, Rey! Bumps his head. Yay, Marvel humor, whatever.
Well, and it's also like, I think it's like that because he's been in like a coma ever since.
Yes,
So
for
he
like a
thinks-
day, not
so-
even.
Yeah, I don't know how the timeline works.
I'm fine with that. I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But he wakes up, he's on the ship, he's being tended to, he walks around, he clearly realizes he's on a fucking...
Like life support or something.
Well, not, like the
on a
friendly
ship.
fate.
Yeah.
He's on like a friendly ship. He's
Yeah.
He's with the Resistance. I keep wanting to call them the Alliance for some reason. But he's with the Resistance. He finds Poe, and immediately he's just like, where's Rey?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to know what happened to you. You're probably... The look of him, he's clearly not seen the doctor.
But
he's just unplugged himself from
To
everything.
him, she could have still died.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
I think that's probably a big thing. Like, he's running around this ship, and yeah, he finds Poe, but he's like...
I'd ask, what happened?
Yeah.
Not, where's Rey? What happened?
Hey, he's a bit of a simp. It's
Clearly.
This is ripe simp culture.
So we get to the big moment that everybody's been wondering. It's the
dear
scene
God.
with Luke Skywalker. And so I wrote, Luke yeets Anakin's lightsaber off a cliff. Luke is immediately short with Chewbacca and Rey. And Rey is the one who translates Chewie. I don't know if you want me to break down everything or if I should just read each bullet point I have.
They did my boy so wrong. He was the hope of a whole galaxy. And they ruined him. They made him drink green milk from a weird manatee, creepy thing's nipple.
So these aliens are like sentient, and most of the aliens in Star Wars are like sentient. Yeah, there are still some animals, but what happens if that was just a sentient alien and Luke's just molesting him?
Yeah, like it legit, I think is because even the thing like
Looks
at Rey like super creepy. Like,
you
I
want
don't-
some titty milk,
I
bitch?
don't get that. Like, that's not even down to like humor. That like made every single person in that whole entire theater I was at like cringe. Like they were just like, oh, why? Like
It did the same for mine, but
like it just, like that's not funny. Like I don't get what your humor's supposed to be like for that.
I understand all the problems with that scene, but honestly, I don't have too big of a problem with it because all of my energy goes to the way they've done Luke Skywalker.
Like just
He's-
making him depressing.
He's an old, angry, pissed off hermit who's hiding away and just waiting to die.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, I don't get that. Like, apparently he wants her to just leave him alone and like kind of go away, but then he gives her like these cocky looks all the time when he does something that kind of seems cool.
Yeah.
Like when he like jumps over to the side with like that thing and gets the fish, he's just like looks over at her, and it's just like, why?
And you
like,
know what?
What is the point of this?
If this was Yoda, I'd have no problem. Because this is some dumb shit I could see Yoda
Yeah.
doing. Being very mysterious and working in riddles.
And
But Luke's
him
just like,
making-
no, I don't like you. Go away.
Yeah. And then he's just like, I'm gonna do some cool stuff. If even he just more acted like crazy Yoda in this instead of like super depressing and just like a shitty character, I'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. Like he's more just becoming his own master. But you're like, nah, he's just depressed, angry, hateful, like everything that Luke Skywalker is not. Like,
I have more going over Luke, but Chewbacca shows up on Luke's front porch.
Kicks down the door.
Yeah, and the first thing he does is he yells at him.
Yeah.
Like, why? This is Chewie.
Yeah.
Y'all niggas go way back.
Yeah.
What? There's no greeting or nothing. He's just like, what are you doing, you big dumb hairy ape?
Well, and like, they do another character very bad, because even the books about these movies do Chewbacca tons of favors of making him an amazing character. But like, yeah, like Luke Skywalker owes like Chewie an apology. Like, for not being there for his best friend to keep him alive. Like, there should have been so much more of a connection there to be like...
You know what there should have been?
Like, what do you understand? Like, Luke, you failed us. Like, you got my best friend killed. It's like nothing.
You know what there should have been? A scene to show Luke grieving or at least reacting to Han Solo's death. They're like, what happens to Han?
Yeah.
Cuts to Kylo Ren. And I get it. That was a kind of cool transition. Like, what happened to Han Solo? Cut to the man that killed Han Solo. But like, we don't get Luke grieving at all for his best friend dying.
Like, once, like, I already talked this to you, or said this to you. Man, I can't talk. Before we started, this movie has no real interactions with any of its characters.
No.
There is no actual, like, real dialogue, like it's two people talking to each other, or a group of people, like, feeding off of each other. It is just people saying, like, a line, and then the other person reacting with their own just dumb line. Like, there's so many, like, empty sayings in this movie just because it's just trying to make a stupid quip or trying to just make a dumb joke. Like, they wrote this movie like it's like an 80s action movie with that little of care. Like, but at least 80s action movies were fun. Like, this movie is just horrible, and none of its characters have any kind of growth or any kind of, like, interaction. Like, it's just so bad. Like, I don't get, like, how people defend this movie. It blows my mind. Because even, like, throw out the Star Wars-ness of it.
The movie shit.
It's a bad movie. Like, there's no way if you, like, took this to, like, a film professor or something, he'd be like, oh, but this movie... Like, no. Everything is just, like, dead air and just, like, empty plot lines and... Like, especially if you're combining, like, all these three movies together, like, really as, like, a one story thing. Oh, God. This movie just throws away characters like crazy. Like, oh, hey, we set this person up in the first movie? No, they're just gonna die. Like,
but, also, you can't... Luke and Chewie don't even get the bond because, like, every time Chewbacca talks to Luke, Rey's just like, this is what he said.
Yeah. Like, he should know. Like,
yeah, like, hey, why does Rey know Wookiee? She's been on
one planet, and
Jakku.
There was, like, Wookiees have not been around, like, forever.
But, like, I don't know. Having her just be like, this is what he said. I don't know. I feel it kind of kills what.
Yeah, because usually the
fractions
best way...
of a connection there are between Luke and Chewie in this.
Yeah, because, like, the best way to write a character that doesn't speak English and you're not going to put subtitles in is to just have the character they're talking to respond.
Oh, you don't mean like say, Rocket and Groot?
Yeah, like, you don't do, like, oh, this is what they're saying, so, like, fill us in. I don't need that. I just need the other person to be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry, Chewie. Like, I should have been there for Han. Or something, like... There's, like, so much of a way, like, him just being like, and then him, like, having a response. You're just like, oh, yeah, like, there we go.
Hold on. I feel like I can recreate this moment, this scene a lot better. Do your Chewbacca roar. What was that, Chewie? Han fell down a well? I don't know if you're talking or coming, but... Grade A Chewbacca noises.
Yeah.
So, wow.
And before we leave this planet, I also want to say how much I hate porgs.
I got lines about
so
how
annoying,
stupid they are.
So dumb. Like, they, like, let them even, like, take over their ship. Like, it's just... Like, that, even that dumb interaction with, like, Chewie eating them, like...
I feel so bad that's what Chewie's been reduced to, is just porg play.
Yeah, and, like, it's so dumb.
Porg play just sounds like porn.
We can move on.
So, past me, or at least me watching this dumbass movie, I guess, kind of knows me. It's like, I don't like Kylo's demasking. Not because I like masks, but because Snoke's seen him with his mask, and presumably plenty of times without it. So making fun of him and calling it ridiculous now just seems kind of stupid, especially when, later on there's like, oh, well, Snoke's the whole reason. Snoke slash Palpatine, if we want to go into the ninth, is the whole reason Kylo has this obsession with Vader that also just really seems to pan out during this movie and just fade to nothing.
Yeah. Doesn't come back until the next movie when he has it again.
Why is he like, take this mask off, you look ridiculous, if you're the reason he's basically donned a mask in the first place?
Yeah.
You set this up.
Even that, because, I've thought about the same thing. But I was like, even that thing, instead of making him feel just like, oh, it's dumb and childish is what he says. Yeah. It's more like if he would tell him, like, almost do like a force vision or something, that, like, he has to face himself. Like, because he even tells him kind of like, you're still broken after killing your father. But it's like, if he then told him not to wear a mask because it's childish, if he told him more like, you have to face who you are, like, you're not just this Kylo Ren person, like, you are, like, Ben Solo, and you have to face that person killed your dad. Or something like, some kind of line that's like, taking off your mask. It's an inward
reflection journey rather than
taking off your mask and realizing that it's not like, you're one and the same as, like, Kylo Ren and who Ben Solo was. Like, that would be a bigger journey of being, like, turning him more to the dark side instead of being like, you're just a little baby, and then he throws a tantrum and breaks the mask.
I want to chalk it up to Snoke being upset with Kylo since he lost to a, quote, girl holding a lightsaber for the first time, end quote. Like how they have to hammer home how stupid that is in the next fucking movie, but
which also,
but that has nothing to do with the helmet.
Like, no, nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could have like, all of these things, like, I think even all of these movies, you could have written stuff better. Like, it just baffles me that, like, really George Lucas wrote, like, his first couple movies, like, for, like, 4, 5, and 6, basically by himself, and they turned out, like, amazing, but then this is now, like, yes, it goes down to kind of the directors and stuff, and they're, like, part writers, because even Johnson or whatever is... Rian Johnson is... like, writer and stuff on this movie. There's really, like, a team of, like, 30 people writing this, and you're just like, how does this happen this bad then?
Just gonna put this out there, I absolutely love Mark Hamill. Great man, absolutely fantastic person, writer,
amazing actor.
I look up to him. I love his Joker. I love everything about him.
That's why I'm so disappointed in this. Like, especially even because Mark Hamill hates this character now. Like, they ruined it.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah,
but as much
he
as
even argued with Rian Johnson about this.
As much as I love Mark Hamill and his acting, I just thought Luke saying "unfindable" was fucking hilarious, because I don't know, it just doesn't sound like Luke Skywalker. It doesn't sound like anything an old, gruff hermit adult male should ever say.
Yeah, like, I understand maybe, like, if you wrote him more like he's still kind of the jokey kid that Luke Skywalker is, but also we don't end on a note with Luke Skywalker as a kid anymore. We end on Luke Skywalker as kind of almost like I hate saying this because it's really annoying, but gray Jedi. Like, he is even kind of going more to the dark side. Like, he's using his power, like, so much more, and, like, even standing there in the Death Star, like, having a conversation, like, politely with his arms behind his back and stuff, like, to Palpatine and Darth Vader. You're like, he's not a jokey character anymore. Like, he's taking this crazy seriously. Like, yeah, when he talks to his sister and stuff, still, there's still, like, that love and, like, jovialness and stuff like that, but this is a very much more serious character than 4 and 5. And, like, when he's in 6, he's much more serious. So still finding him now kind of being, like, dumbish, like, it's kind of weird.
Again, this could work if he was Yoda, or supposed to be more of a Yoda styled mentor, because I could see Yoda being like, this is the most unfindable place or some shit like that, but I don't know, it just sounded stupid. I have a mention of the green titty milk.
Yes.
My only comment was just why. I like Rey being amused by the rain. I still think that's a very great
because
sign
she
of
never saw it before.
It's great character consistency, and I love that.
Yeah,
and I think it's great when, especially when Rey of all people receives something, because
she has
more
character,
personality. And again, there's this massive tonal shift as grumpy old man Luke. He's like, "Where are you from, Rey?" And she's like, "I'm from nowhere." And he's like, "Nobody's from nowhere." She's like, "Jakku!" Like immediately, she snaps back, "Jakku!" Like she was eager to say that shit, and Luke immediately claps back with "That really is nowhere." Yeah. And I'm like, but like that's a joke. Why are you joking? You're grumpy. You're angry.
Because even that could have been like a bonding moment. He could have been like, "Well, I grew up on Tatooine, which is also just like a desert bowl of nothing." Like, I literally did moisture farming as a boy. Like,
you could be like, "Oh yeah, I guess we're both from nowhere." Some shit. Fucking, you're building Luke Skywalker up to be a Clint Eastwood character, and he's making this fucking joke that I don't think Clint Eastwood would fucking make.
They just don't know. They didn't. I feel like they just didn't know what they were writing.
I feel like
they just
that was
wrote it all over the
supposed
place.
to be like a Marvel style punchline, tongue-in-cheek quip. Leia slaps Poe despite him destroying the dreadnought, which is the only my phone auto-corrected it Radis to Radius, so it's going to be called the Radius from now on. Which is the only ship capable of destroying the Radius. Why? Oh, hold on. Well, that's the next line. Why did she slap and demote him? I mean, I get it. He lost the entire fleet of bomber thingies, but he stopped literally the only ship that would vaporize them. Yeah. They'd be dead if if Poe hadn't done that. Like, they'd be dead. So why is he in trouble? Why? What did he do that's wrong if he saved the entire fleet? Like, this is a war. Sacrifices get made. It's sad, but...
And once again, kind of period is... Was that even a plan in the first place? Or did it just kind of happen? Like, I don't understand... Like... Did they want to use these bombers for this?
Yeah, bro, totally.
But like, they also kind of like yell at him that like, no, you should just get out of there. We all got these ships out, and he's just like calling the bombers. So it's like, how does this military run at all? Because like, we'll even get even more once Hodo shows up, and then she just doesn't want to tell anybody anything, which is the dumbest thing ever. But like, apparently they wrote this as like a kindergarten military where like. Nobody discusses anything. Nobody tries to, like, figure out plans. This isn't, like, taking down the Death Star. This is literally, like, we'll see how it goes. Like, that's literally every mission that they do in this movie is just like, hey, we'll see what happens.
So, this might be jumping ahead a bit, but, like, they literally call the Dreadnought a fleet killer, which means the Dreadnought could have killed the Raditz and the couple of support ships that they have tailing it. So, if Poe didn't destroy that, it would have been game over.
Yeah.
There would be no resistance to talk about. The movie would probably end. Why doesn't Snoke's supremacy not have this technology to do this? I mean, it's the ship with the main tracker, lightspeed tracker, so, like, why...
Dude, does anything make sense in this?
Why doesn't... This is also his Grand Throne ship. Like, why...
Not even, like, okay, here's another question. Why is the tracker on Snoke's ship when Snoke didn't even know about the tracker?
Yeah.
Because
he
is mad at them at first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Snoke's like, we got a plan. And it's just like, once again, you're taking...
Later on
you're a military. You have to work with a chain of command. You don't just tell your lead guy... Hey, you don't know this, but we've been working on something. Like,
I might have it in my notes, but I think later on in the movie, like, Snoke's like, oh yeah, I knew about the tracker all along. So, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, nothing makes sense.
So, and then you get to the Raditz is under attack by some TIE fighters, and they're like, oh, speed up. If we make it out of range of the ships, like, the TIE fighters will have to retreat, but, like, why? Kylo destroyed the hangar bay. There's no ships. They have nothing they can fight back with.
Well, and on top of that is they act like TIE fighters don't have like a lot of fuel or something, so that they can't go around. TIE fighters are literally meant to go even like light speed and trip around like the whole galaxy if they have to. Because in plenty of like even canon literature, people take like TIE fighters and like X-wings across the whole entire galaxy without another ship. So it's like it's not like they run out of fuel. They're not just like a
well, no,
because
they're like we can't protect them.
Yeah, but even that makes no sense.
They don't need to be. You just lost your fucking dreadnought,
and apparently, Poe just proved that little ships can get past big cannons.
Which the Radish I don't think has, because I don't think the Radish shoots anything. They just have shields.
I'm
sorry, the radius.
I think they're supposed to. Like,
well, I don't remember them shooting.
But I mean, like in like the battle against the second Death Star, there's a ship exactly like that.
Yeah.
That Admiral Akbar's like piloting, and I'm pretty sure it has guns in that.
Oh no, I don't remember. They might have shot, but again, you
literally no consistency at all.
You just lost Starkiller Base and a dreadnought. Those have to be fucking hella expensive. TIE fighters got to be like 25 cents a pop, bro. You're really worried about the wrong things if you're like, I gotta save money on these fucking TIE fighters.
Yeah. Well, and either way, like, oh my gosh, those ships can catch that ship.
Like they blew out the fucking command room or whatever.
I was like, people jump to like light speed all the time for like little short bursts, like turn it on, turn it off, and they're just like right on a thing. So like, why could they just like jump a like, gosh, I always forget what their ships are called. What's the big triangle-y things called?
The Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, those. They're like they're Starship
nacho
things,
chips.
Whatever.
Oh, Star Destroyers.
Star Destroyers. This like one of those Star Destroyers could literally just been like we're right on top of you.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, why don't they just like block them in or something or It's like the fucking shit reminds me of the OJ chase of just like the white Bronco and 1,000 cop cars behind it. It's like nobody want to just pull in front of him or anything. No, we're just gonna follow very slowly. Whatever. Like they even blow out the fucking command, the bridge, where all the fucking important people gathered. See where Leia dies.
Well,
what is that? The bridge, right?
Literally, yes. Literally, isn't that the same place they're in like 5 seconds later?
I thought so, but I couldn't tell.
Like, I can't. Yeah, I rewatched this movie and I'm like, they never explained it because like at first they like have the meeting after like Leia's injured and like everyone's down there and they're like telling everybody everything, and that's when Hodo gets introduced.
Yeah,
and it seems like maybe they're in a different room, and then literally like
Poe goes back to the bridge.
A second later, they're all in the bridge. I was like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, this is literally where she pilots the thing then too. I'm like, this is what they blew up. I was like, how is this still existing?
I questioned that, but at the same time, I know nothing of like Star Wars ships or anything. So I was like, maybe the Radius has like some backup bridge thingy. I don't fucking know.
Like, literally, if they were gonna at least like act like they quick repaired it, there should just be like a giant like metal things like in the way, but like the whole thing's still completely clean, white, and like I'm like, I was completely blown away. Like, how is this happening? I didn't even notice it the first couple of times I watched this movie. When I rewatched it now, I was like, wait, they're literally back in the bridge. Like, this makes no sense.
Leia's death or fake out death. Did she die? Like, she was in space for a long time before the Force kicked in.
Dude, the Force saved her ass, I guess, apparently.
Like, she had frost on her skin.
Yeah. Well, and like, other people were like, well, she was also a chosen one. She was supposed to be really powerful. I was like, yeah, but if you read even the rest of the books that are even canon, they say that she was even pulled into a different, like, style of being a Jedi. She was not supposed to learn how the Force works and everything. She was just supposed to learn how to be, like, use the Force to be a better leader. So she never really used the Force. And then somehow it just, like, magically, they're like, yeah, Don't you know the Force just makes you invulnerable?
I feel like, you know what? I still think it's a problem, regardless. But I feel like if they would have, again, had a throwaway line saying, like, oh, Luke and Leia trained after the OT, and now she has some form of Force mastery. That's why she can Mary Poppins her ass back to the bridge of
or
the
like,
speeding
why
erotics.
hasn't she been using this shit to do like a ton of other stuff? Like really, even her old and decrepit, she could have like stormed the thing with them, like the in the first movie, and just like taken out everybody. She could have saved her husband from dying.
Bro, yeah, like force pulling yourself out of space itself has to be like a really OP
like,
ability.
Super like strong Jedi.
She could probably just like force crush all of Starkiller.
Yeah.
Also, this is just a side thing. So in the movie, she's referred to as General Leia Organa. Like maybe it's just because they're in this strictly militaristic setting at the moment. She's a princess. Isn't princess like higher than or
no, because she's not a princess anymore. Her planet was blown up.
Yeah, but I don't know. I still keep the title. She just took
on like the main like maybe it should be better than general. It should be like commander in chief. Like she should
princess
be like
general.
She should be like, because like that's why the president is called commander in chief, because it's like the literally top echelon of military. So she should at least have that. Like a general is literally like some guy you could literally like just talk to right now. Like
I just want to point out, Zuko was banished from his place. He's never going back. He was still like, I'm Prince Zuko, nigga, square up. I'm pretty sure she can get away with Princess Leia Organa. If I was a chick in her situation, I'd be like, bitch, call me queen.
Yeah.
Vegeta's entire planet was blown up, and he's like, I'm Prince Vegeta. Yeah. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Chewbacca rarely ever speaks to Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they only had that one direct interaction, and I just don't get what they are best friends being reunited after possibly, like, what, 30 years?
Yeah.
And they don't get
he literally has, like, a more touching reunion with R2-D2.
Which I do like.
Everyone loves R2-D2, but that's ridiculous. Like, Chewbacca's a living thing. Can we give him
R2-D2's alive, too. Droid lives matter.
But, I mean, like, at least, like, Chewbacca's connected to the Force and everything. Like, you would feel something off of him. Like, you would feel emotion and stuff. Like, R2, like, even though R2's amazing, he's still, like, they treat Chewbacca in these movies more like a pet than they do, like, he's an actual character.
No,
like,
this one, he's not a pet. He's just an Uber driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Space Uber. So,
he looks like most Uber drivers.
And now we're canceled. Well, at least it wasn't me that had that. My next point is, I like Luke and R2-D2 scene. Why the fuck did I spell out his full name?
Did you say Luke Skywalker's?
No, just R2-D2. Artuicus D2icus. I like their scene together. I like the callback to the OT where R2 plays the fucking "Help me, Obi-Wan, you're our only hope." I thought that was a really great scene. Mm-hmm. I don't think the build-up to it is done properly because it's the rest of this movie's hot garbage, but I think that was a really powerful and touching scene. I thought it was cute. Luke's vulnerable. Like, he's like, "No, I'll never do it." He plays it. He's just like, "That's a cheap shot." And R2 just, like, turns back slowly and looks him in the eye and just goes, "Beep, boop."
Yeah.
I was just like, that's powerful. That's great. You don't know what the fuck R2-D2 said, but it still just comes off as powerful. It's great. It's amazing. I like to picture R2 just saying, "Tough shit, nigga."
Yeah.
And continuing to play it. But that's just my headcanon. That's it's not canon.
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest, Lord. Oh, wow. My phone auto-corrected Hodo and added a U, so now the name looks hideous.
Is it Hoodoo?
Houldo. I don't know. I don't know if that's even a real word, so I don't know why my phone... Anyways, controversial take here.
Mm-hmm.
I like Admiral Holdo's hair. Anything else about her character? No, but her hair... I know people are like, why does she have purple hair? That's a very lovely fucking shade of purple. That shit looks nice.
I think the only thing I can say about it, like, because it doesn't bother me, But the only thing I will, because you brought it up, because I don't really give a shit. But I mean, she's supposed to be like, I guess, another general or like main part
Admiral.
of this admiral, and she dresses like she's like went out to a cocktail party.
I do have a mention about why she's wearing a
I'm
dress.
like, what the hell is happening? Like, I was like,
Also-
this literally was the person you were like going to put into like your next thing, and she was not ready for war at all. Like, this ship has been on like red alert for a very long time, and she was just like out on a date somewhere. And they just pulled her away.
Also, you called it pink. That's clearly a magenta lavender.
I am
so we're just
sorry.
I do have a
so
mention of her
sorry.
gown because I was like, why is she wearing this?
Yeah.
Also, I might be jumping ahead here, but during the mutiny, she slips out a fucking gun. Where has she had that in her fucking ball gown?
Between her butt cheeks.
Oh, I guess that's why nobody fucking found it.
Yeah.
I was like, I actually think it's a lovely shade. Her character is still dumb.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar's death is kind of unceremonious.
Yeah.
Lee. It should have been unceremonious, but whatever. I'm retarded.
How do flames continue to rage when the rest of that... this has happened a while ago, but also when like the bombing happened for like the hangar, and then...
Oh, yeah, the fires.
How does the fire continue to rage when it's also like open to the vacuum of space?
The Force.
Okay. Yep. Because I was just like, the fire's still going. I'm like, there was like a giant hole in this ship.
It's strong with the Force.
Okay. Very strong force fire.
Holdo deflects Poe's question about the plan, but it doesn't really work as Poe had a plan. Like,
yeah, and like Holdo had a plan. Poe had a plan. Talk this out. You're a military. I don't care if you guys got gripes with each other. Like, her only thing she just keeps bringing up is like, he's a flyboy and he just so thinks with his head and like he just thinks with his feelings. And you're like, just talk to each other then. Like, this is a guy, even though he's demoted, I could probably say he's probably still the highest rank of
he was,
any other person there.
If I remember correctly, he was demoted from like commander to captain.
Yeah, so he's like literally the next person in line.
Or maybe vice versa. I don't know.
And you don't want to tell him your plan.
Yeah, I think that's really stupid.
That is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because even at least like Poe eventually tells them like what they're doing, and you're like, oh, Poe did a smart thing.
But so yeah.
Oh, did we even talk about Finn trying to escape? Did that already happen?
No, I think that's the next scene.
Him?
This is the next scene, I believe.
Okay.
But Poe had a plan.
Yeah.
With the dreadnought. It just so happens that his plan didn't go completely to fruition.
Yeah.
Or at least I hope it didn't. I hope his plan wasn't for all the bombers to get wiped out.
Yeah.
Finn's secretly a traitor. No. Episode 9 came out. I can't make a joke about that being like a theory for it. Never mind. Yeah, Poe had a plan. His plan just didn't work 100%.
Yeah.
It worked. It saved the day.
They still took out like a giant ship that should also help cripple them. Like, destroying... Oh my gosh, this still is so dumb. Destroying just a Death Star was supposed... Like, at least the second one that they were like working on as hard as they could with like the last little bit of like what the Empire had. Destroying that was like crippling the Empire. But an even bigger thing that was made out of a whole planet, that getting destroyed, and then your great, like, one of your other greatest ships getting destroyed doesn't mean nothing. Like,
and then she goes on to call him impulsive.
Yeah.
Which, is this just me? But if I think somebody's impulsive, wouldn't you just tell them your plan? That way they don't go, we don't have a plan, dumb. And then act on impulse to do their own plan or something. Like,
no, you're thinking with logic.
Like, shouldn't you inform the impulsive people so they don't act on impulse?
Yeah. Well, really, was he still, like, I know they told him to turn around, but I feel like I know earlier I was like, was this a plan or not? It must have been a plan to, like, use those bombers. So it's not like it's all his fault. Like, this was an actual plan in motion, or those ships wouldn't have just, like, shown up.
Also, like, yes, Poe is the leader of that fleet, I guess, but Leia has ranking on Poe.
Yeah.
So, was she only just talking to Poe's radio? Like,
Yeah, to tell them to turn around, because everyone could have turned around.
yeah, like,
And
everybody
just
could have
left
turned
Poe
around,
there.
and
Yeah.
Poe would have either died or turned around with them.
Yeah.
But, like, why
So,
did they not listen to Leia?
Everyone's just a bad leader.
Everyone's retarded.
Yeah.
So now we get to your favorite character. Rose is introduced by mourning her sister. Brand new character is mourning someone we basically don't know, but we can't get a scene of Luke mourning Han.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm a fucking snappy little shit.
Yeah,
aren't
see
I?
that.
Is what Rose is doing within the ship legal within whatever?
I don't know,
the
taking
resistance?
people out or whatever.
Yeah, just like fucking KOing anybody that tries to get an escape pod. Like, that can't be legal, right?
Yeah.
Nobody mentions it.
Well, and, like, once again, as well, Finn isn't actually running away.
Yeah.
If you just, like, they make it like he's running away then, because he's just like, I just need to see my friend so she just doesn't get back here. I'm like, or you could have just said, like, I'm trying to get our greatest weapon to help us.
Yeah.
And then she would have been like, oh, you're trying to get the person that's a Jedi? Because how did she also, like, have no reaction to be like, I have to warn Rey? Like, does everyone not know who Rey is at this point?
They know who Finn is.
Like, yeah, so they know who Finn is, but not the person
also,
that
how does
literally,
everybody...
like, has the Force and wields a lightsaber? Like,
this is
what?
like a day later, if even, by the way. So why is
No
Finn
idea.
a fucking legend?
That's because that's also the worst way to make these movies. All of them should have had a time skip. Like, just like the other movies, it's so much better when there's a time skip. That's the whole reason why you have the scrolling thing that comes down to tell you what happened in between.
Yeah.
Because if not, just don't have that, because it's literally just happened yesterday. Like,
but you know what? I do like... This is another thing. Oh, God forbid. This is what? My fourth thing I like about the movie.
I think I always have something to shut them down, too.
while I question if what Rose is doing is legal, I like the fact that she's the one that's doing it, because her whole thing is, my sister just gave her life for this and you're trying to run away. I like that. I feel like they could have built off of it a lot better. They really don't.
No.
You know what? If Finn was a legitimate coward up until this point, which I refer to him as a coward in my notes a lot. I even have a note that's even like, coward's just the easiest word to use. It's not my actual...
Well,
I don't think Finn's a coward, but I don't know.
And I feel like, well, I guess you could say by how you're saying for, like, other stuff that they're building off of his character, I guess technically he's a coward of why he left, like, the First Order. But it's more like...
I'd say that's more so morality and,
well, I'm saying,
a bit
like,
of cowardice as well.
Well, but I mean, like, I feel like that's what they're taking off of his character. That's why they made him that way in the movie. Instead of being like, no, he was actually, like, heroic in saving a guy that was a rebel pilot, or, like, a resistance pilot, and then also, like, going against the First Order. Like, instead, they're just like, no, remember, he was a coward. That's why he left.
Well,
so we're just going to make him more of a
wasn't
coward.
His whole thing in the first movie was primarily, I want to go hide from the First Order. So, like, I'll help you guys get your shit, and in return, you give me, like, a hiding spot where the First Order can't find me.
No, because he even is the one that's like, I know how to
well,
take down
yeah, he gets that. He does that part. But
yeah,
I'm
but
saying,
I mean, like, that's a major turning point in that character. It's not like he's like, at this point, I'm a hero. Like, I'm going to help you save this. So for him to just be in the next movie, like, you know what? I'm a pussy again. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But in the first one, wasn't like his reason for coming along was because they got Rey, and he was like, all right, I gotta save Rey because I like Rey or whatever.
Oh.
And he was like, I'm also going to help this. So I feel
Either
like he
way,
still has a reason
just,
to want to go
either
hide.
he's a coward, I guess, and then he just has major simpiness.
Yeah, it's a very
or,
muddled
like,
pond in my
know.
mind for him, but I feel like if he was a flat-out coward, like Rose sees him, this would work. Like, their relationship or whatever could work. Both of them could grow as a character. I'd still hate what they do at the end, but I feel like they could grow, and it would be better. Mm-hmm. Also, why is he really embarking on this mission for the Resistance? Because, like, yes, you said he's a hero, but I still don't think they've done much to say that he is sided with the Resistance. Like, I don't think they've done much to go, I'm putting my stakes into this fight. I'm going to fight with you guys. They still...
Yeah, I guess he has more of, like, the Han Solo side of it. Like,
yeah.
Han Solo wasn't really a part of the rebellion. He was more just, like, outside of it. So, like, even when Hoth gets attacked and stuff like that, he's still, like, about to leave. But then when they're like, we can't find Luke and, like, the Empire's here, he goes out and tries to save Luke. So that's what, like, his friends is more what motivates him than what actually is happening to the...
And I just don't think we have enough time for them to really be friends for this movie. Or at least screen time with all of them.
Oh, you mean with, like, Rose, or, like, the connection between, like, Poe and him? And
yeah. A little bit of both, honestly. But, so, this is another thing I really like.
Well, and once again, they have no real dialogue with each other. So
yeah, that's a problem.
No one actually feels like they're friendly or feels like
they're
got
bonding.
Banter, or like they're just saying
Chemistry.
these one stupid lines. Like
But I just find it funny that Finn, a janitor at Starkiller Base, also happened to be a janitor who mops the Lightspeed tracker room on the Supremacy. Now, isn't that just dumb fucking luck?
It's like because that is just like another really dumb thing that they're like, oh yeah, this is like new technology that didn't exist, except for he knows it because also this was like a day ago that all this happened. Like, there's like no like it's just like a bunch of like dumb coincidence kind of things. Like, oh, I happen to know everything. Like, yes, I used to be on what do they call the basically Death Star in the first
Starkiller.
Starkiller. He's like, I worked on Starkiller Base. Oh, but I also work on Kylo Ren's ship. Oh, yeah, but I also worked on the Supremacy. Oh, guess what? I also go on missions to try to kill people with Kylo Ren, even though I'm a janitor. Like, none of this makes sense. Like, literally, they have jobs for people.
This makes a lot of sense. They only have one janitor, so he needs to go to Snoke's ship.
Every single place.
Killer.
Except for, like, those little, like, it's somewhere back there. I've got one of the little sweeper droids. It's like, what do they need a damn janitor for when they have droids?
Yeah, we'll get into that. I got a major point.
I think Finn is actually a spy through this whole thing, because everything he knows is, like, somehow super fishy, because it makes no sense for a janitor.
So... we don't have any scenes with Poe and Maz Kanata in the first movie.
But he knows her.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. They can know each other. Whatever. That makes sense.
Dumb.
But normally a movie sets this up in any way, shape, or form. And neither movie sets it up.
Dude, you just blew my mind. That is crazy. Yeah, like the only thing he would have had any interaction with her is that he was the person flying by to destroy the Empire on her planet. Like, that's it. Like, what the hell?
We don't have anything for that, and part
dumb.
of it really doesn't work if Finn's the one who calls her either, but it would have been better because we see Finn interact with her. Like, you just need a scene. And I don't even think they give us, like, a line.
Well, because even, like, Han doesn't take them to her because she's like a resistance person. He takes her to her just because she might have like
canteen thingy, right?
Yeah,
the
I think they're just trying to find like information or something.
Oh, I thought they were after a ship.
I forget.
But he only went there for connections.
Oh no, maybe they are asking how to meet up with the Resistance because they're trying to get Finn back to the Resistance. Yeah. So I guess maybe she already knows the Resistance. There we go. We fixed a connection.
I feel like I don't know why I'm trying to
redeem this movie, but yeah.
But so wasn't her canteen destroyed in that movie, in Force Awakens?
Yeah.
What union dispute is she caught up in? That was her excuse as to why she couldn't help. Know. Was because she's in a union dispute. But what the Resistance, the Republic, the whatever, they've just been nuked out of the galaxy. Your canteen is destroyed. What union is there to dispute about right now?
just a reason for
Was
the
this like
character to not come with them to do something.
Was this supposed to be like a cute jab at like I'm fighting stormtroopers or some shit? I then like
Makes no sense to me, because I think even like the cry in the background of like someone dying sounds more like alien. It doesn't sound like a human. So I think it's just dumb. It's literally just dumb reasoning.
So another question, because again I don't know technology. Are there, like the hologram projectors? Are there the more dynamic ones that she was using? Because normally,
nope.
It's usually just like
this thing that just shows like
stationary
a
thing.
Yep. So
and
no, that was just
even when there's like because I think in one of the prequels there's like a fight scene that you see in like hologram.
Yeah.
But
I'm not too worried about technology. I guess
it's just stationary. I don't. It's just really weird. That
at least
it's
more
flying
like
around.
I guess it's more like even like a camera. It's not like we're seeing a full 3D version of herself.
But it's just it was really weird. I don't know.
That's what you get out of.
I was just really confused because it's like technology's progressed here, but it's regressed when it comes to the fucking bombers. More Marvel-styled humor as Rey and Kylo have their forced Skype call interrupted by the aliens that tend to the Jedi Temple on, I forget the name of the planet.
Yeah, when she shoots the hole in the
thing,
and they're like,
Mah! I do like the beginning as Rey is grieving Han, which I feel like works because she took him in as a surrogate father.
Yeah.
And immediately latched on.
And I do actually like, even though once again it's just a quip back, is like Kylo's thing back of being like,
what
you just or like you took on him as a father, like he's not a father to you kind of thing, like.
Which I thought that was good. I like that. That's character development.
Yeah.
That's characters having a moment. But Luke interrupts it with that, what happened here? Which seems more like it's played for laughs than a serious moment.
I was cleaning my blaster.
And it's also just a scene where other people grieve and you still don't have Luke grieving Han. And I'm just like, what? So Luke agrees to train Rey. One lesson, I think, or 3 lessons, and they only do 1.
Yep.
And it's that scene where he's like, close your eyes, reach out, and she's like, he's tickling her with a fucking reed or some shit. And again, I honestly thought the scene was funny and made me laugh. Even going back and rewatching it twice, which I did for this fucking god awful thing, I still laughed. It got a chuckle out of me. It's funny. But again, this falls into that more Yoda-style thing. This is something I could see Yoda doing, not a grumpy, angry, disassociating hermit.
Well, and they both, like, act differently. Even Rey is, like, almost acting dumb. Because she's just like,
But like, Rey's such a blank character that I can at least forgive her having like, some sort of a fucking...
Once again, it just feels like 2 people reading off of a script being like, this is your inflection. Do it. Like, nobody had, like, any kind of, like, input of being, or, like, weren't maybe even allowed to have any input of being like, well, this feels kind of, like, dead. Like, it feels like we're just people actually reading a script and we're not acting and, like, trying to be like, this is a teacher-student moment. Like, let's really, flesh this out.
Yeah, it's really just kind of goofy. But then we get into Luke's new philosophy. And as, you know...
The Jedi need to die.
The Jedi owning the light is vain, yada, yada, yada. But, like, does removing the Jedi actually help?
No. Because just would make...
Like, the Sith exists still.
Yeah. Like, so it's literally, like, the dumbest line. And, like, yeah, we'll probably get this into even more later. But, like, a big premise, like, and it feels like it's wasted because of the end of the movie. But it's literally like most of this movie, especially all the Luke interactions, is like, get rid of the Jedi. Let's move on. Like, I don't even think Luke is like, we don't need even the Force anymore. He's literally just, like, even though he cut himself from the Force, because that's also dumb. He's kind of just being like, the Force should just exist, and we don't need people wielding it. But it's like, you also aren't correcting in the other side, and if you read these books, just like any other master would, there always has to be balance. Like, for every Palpatine, there will have to be a new Rey or a new somebody to rise up. Like, this is literally like the dumbest logic, because we already know how the Star Wars universe works. Even he should, even if he wasn't taught it, he can still read it in all these books he has, that no matter if the Jedi die or not, someone with the light side of the Force is going to come back. That's the whole reason Jedi exist, is because there's a good side and a bad side. They just named them. Like, just getting rid of the Jedi name doesn't mean anything, because it would just mean another thing would rise up.
Well, and that's my other thing, because they make like a statement on the powerful dark, powerful light. So even if you kill off the Jedi, doesn't the powerful light still rise regardless?
Yeah.
Like, what is that, catch-22?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. It's kind of stupid.
So
and
he's literally even just like saying
stupid,
like in circles, just dumb like logic.
But it sounds good. You can make quotes that go into commercials.
Yeah.
And on
that's all it is it's just, let's do a one line here that sounds like it means something, and then we'll do another line here that sounds like it means something. None of it sounds good together, but
and so I'm guessing it's true, because a lot of the feats from at least the movies kind of show it. But are Rey and Kylo stronger than Vader and Sidious? Like, because Luke makes I've only seen this type of raw power once before, and it didn't scare me then. It does now. But, like, you fought Darth fucking Vader and Sheev Palpatine.
Yeah.
Were they not as strong? And then you later find out that Sheev...
Absolutely.
Also, there's Snoke. Snoke he exists at the moment. And then you find out that Sheev is Snoke, kind of.
Yeah.
So, like, are they stronger than Palpatine?
Once again, it's because it's a line and not like how a person would talk. He would probably explain that it's like a person that I trained before had this same kind of like issues or something, instead of just being like, I've only seen this raw power once before. Like, dude, even you're the chosen one, and you kind of like went to the dark side on Dagobah. So it's like, no, you felt that from yourself. Like, it's so like, once again, it's just lines written. It's so dumb.
I didn't want to do this because I haven't rewatched Force Awakens, at least not for this. But I could be wrong, because I like to think of the OT where it's like, you got Han, the pilot, Luke, the Force user, yada yada. Finn isn't a pilot, right? Like, wasn't that the whole reason he broke Poe out, was because he can't fly?
Yeah, I guess.
And
but
he's
also,
piloting in this movie.
You do realize that like neither one of them pilot. They both just like stand and talk to each other while that ship's moving through space. Like, they're literally just like autopilot, and then just like,
which they should use more often in these fucking movies, but for some reason they don't.
Yeah.
But there is a scene where I think he's at the helm and like piloting physically.
Oh, maybe they taught him within that like day
when he was unconscious.
Yeah.
Because his spine was cut by a fucking plasma blade.
Yeah, that's when they did it.
Okay. Yeah. Yada yada. Ray in the rain. Kylo having a rainy palm after the Force Skype, the second one. I have no idea how this. I know the movies. That's about it. I know a couple comics.
It was never in anything else. This is literally just something they designed for these movies. Like, people can have connections where they like feel each other through the Force, or they can even like project themselves to another person. But this is just something made for these movies.
I got
especially
that.
Even what's the Rise of Skywalker, when they're literally like trading things through it, like.
Yeah, I know this doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm more so saying, I don't know if this breaks Force law or continuity or what can and can't.
Absolutely. Like, it just makes no sense.
But I still like...
Well, especially since it's like, it's Palpatine the whole way off in some like secret sector space, reaching through to his like clone to then reach through and connect both of them.
And then reaching through
like a whole galaxy, and you're
connecting
just like,
some raindrops.
What? Like, no one has been even close to that powerful. Even like, there's a here, we'll go super nerdy. back in like the old Republic, they're the greatest like Sith Lord that exists back then. To make himself this powerful, like he's insanely powerful. Like
He sucked a lot of dick.
dude, he killed a whole entire planet.
Didn't he kill like his planet? Wasn't
Yes.
like because isn't that the Sith?
He sacrificed every. No, it's like it's not the actual like Sith people with like the things because he's not an actual Sith.
Oh, okay.
But he sacrificed every single person, like millions of lives, to take every single one of those souls and put it into himself. That's how powerful in the dark side he is, and he can't do crap like this. Like.
I have a friend who's a major nerd into Star Wars. I'll see if he wants to come on for an episode.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
he
we'll
mentioned something like that.
I want to do. Let's wait until we're done with the sequels, and we'll talk about just like happy, really awesome.
Yeah, that's
stuff
what
with
he'd
the Star
be for
Wars,
because he's digging into the lore. He's real cool. We'll like him.
So I do love Star Wars. I know all we've been talking about is like things that make us angry about it, except for Mandalorian. Me and my brother really did love that, and it was.
I just didn't watch
fun.
because I'm not trying to spoil it
Yep.
for myself.
Makes sense. I think we might combine a couple episodes into the next one because since we also weren't recording for that, and then the last Mandalorian one was pretty exciting, but the second one was especially not. So
okay. So I don't know how Finn and Rose left the radius
without getting noticed at all.
Like, A, can they not visibly with their eyes see the ship departing? B, they're doing these trackers or whatever, so can they not track this ship jumping to light speed? And if that's the fucking case, why didn't they just use these fucking ships to jump ahead?
Just like, even if you gotta pack people in like sardines, because really in the end, somehow there's only like 20 people left of the whole entire resistance.
All according to plan.
Yeah.
So Rey's practicing with her bow staff, and then she decides to switch over to her lightsaber.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you just be practicing with a lightsaber the entire time?
I don't know. Maybe maybe it's just what's familiar and just what you gravitate towards. But she gets it out, and she's doing pretty good with it at first. She's getting some fucking dope ass moves in, and then she immediately slices through the rock, which shows to you that she doesn't have mastery of this lightsaber, which only compounds the fact that she beat Kylo Ren in a fucking lightsaber duel. I hate it. I hate you. I hate everything.
A kid that was trained in the ways of a Jedi and then also trained in the ways of a Sith. But, yeah.
Oh, wow. This next one's like a very long point. So Luke spews on about his new ideology. The Jedi need to die because of their hubris and failure.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't the legend the galaxy believes them to be. Luke is like the most optimistic person in the galaxy.
Yeah.
He believed, and correctly so, that Vader still had good in him, and worked to bring it out of him rather than kill him.
Used love, guys. Love. He even acknowledges in the books, canon and otherwise, that he did not defeat the galaxy with the Force. He is not some great warrior. He defeated it with hope and love. And this is what they did to him. How?
He's always striving for the light. Nothing about the tragic, quote-unquote tragic event should change his views. Why stop resurrecting the Jedi? If they were drunk on their own hubris, make it a lesson for the next generation. Show them what could and will happen if they were to ever fail. Luke risked his life time and time again for this galaxy, and now he's just giving up on it over something pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
He's Luke in name and name only. I feel bad for Mark Hamill. God, you can tell I really didn't have fun with this movie.
Well, that's all true. Like, literally, even like the Luke that we all know and love, he would have reached out to his nephew, not just like continually pushing him to be like, learn more of the Force, because that seems like all they're trying to say he did was just like, well, if I keep just training him in the Force, then he'll just get out of want to be dark. And like, no, if he just like sat him down and tried to explain to him and like that his family loves him and stuff, like these are the ways that Luke conquers things. Like, yeah, he also ends up being like an insanely powerful Jedi because he's the chosen one, but he's also like just a good person. Like,
yeah, I feel like Luke would have, before going like, oh, time to stab this man,
Yeah.
I feel like he would have been like, Ben, we gotta have a talk. The galaxy is not a school. Please do not shoot it up.
Yeah. Or at least this Jedi temple is not your high school. But it's like also, so 30 years is supposed to have passed since like Return of the Jedi, and you telling me that Luke Skywalker only had one school this whole entire time?
Bro, he had to get funding.
Yeah,
that's the First Order. That shit's hard to come by.
Yeah. Like he would have had like probably like 3,000 students by now. Like,
no, they're dead.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, he's just like,
Kylo killed them all.
Hey, yeah, I waited until Kylo was old enough, and I trained him and a bunch of other people, and then he killed most of them, and some of them ran off. And you're like, who are the people that ran off too? Like,
yeah, where the fuck are they at?
Because apparently, I read somewhere that they're not supposed to be like the Darth Backstreet Boys, like the Knights of Ren. Like, those are just guys.
The Darth Backstreet Boys. I'm gonna get that tattoo.
That like, those are guys that he just kind of like got to respect him and everything, and they follow him. So, who are these other like, I guess Sith people or whatever, people that just want to survive and like made it out that know the Force?
Bro, I ain't that deep into Star Wars. You can't ask me this shit. So
they just leave so many plot holes and just things that are just like, yeah, you know, things.
There's we cut back to the ship with the radius and whatnot, and Holdo's talking to this black dude who's on screen, and he's like, "Oh, we got everybody out, yada yada yada," and he's in one of the support ships that follow behind, and it dies because the First Order shoot it, it blows up, kaboomy. Why did he stay behind? Why didn't he just leave? There's fucking autopilot in this fucking galaxy. Like, why didn't he just get on the ship?
Why did he slow down?
He ran out of fuel. He was just, you know how space works. You run out of fuel, you have to stop.
You run out of fuel, you just stop.
You slow down.
It's not like just momentum goes on forever because there's no friction. There's no friction in space. Bro. So, you know, he just slowed down because of it. Like, what?
In space, like, nobody can hear you break.
Like, they could have literally, like, if the First Order had no, like, reason to try to catch up to them, they literally could just been like, shut all engines down now. We'll just creep along. Like, like, you're still gonna go the exact same speed, apparently, if you had thrusters on or not. Like, unless you put on reverse thrusters, like, even the space station works this way. You have to, like, to, like, move stuff around, like, by slowly, like, kicking on and kicking off things. Because if not, if you just hit one on, you just, like, spin in space. So it's like, you guys just don't, like, you're acting like you're in water. And that's not how these work.
You sure?
Yeah.
I can't breathe underwater and I can't breathe in space. Coincidence?
Yeah.
I think not.
Same thing, yeah.
So how lucky are they to find the code breaker chilling in, well, a code breaker chilling in prison, who just happens to wait for them before he's making his leisure.
I got sweat going on. Whoa. We have moved ahead way too fast because I need to explain how dumb this whole thing is. So, once again, we did discuss why the hell did they know who Maz Kanata is. But Maz Kanata sends them on a mission, tells them explicitly who to find, that he has this red brooch on his chest, or whatever the hell it is.
It's called a brooch, I think.
And they need to go get that exact guy because he owes them like a favor, and he'll do this for them.
And he's good and bad.
Yes. And basically, yeah, because she was like, oh, he's good at a lot of things.
That was the implication, right?
Yeah. And he's like, he's perfect. He'll get you in, get you out. So these two morons show up on this planet, and then for one, just like crash the ship because you're like, yeah, that's smart. There's probably like 15 different places you could have landed. And then so
well, Finn's not a pilot, so boom.
Instead of drawing attention to yourself, and then you get there, you're running all around the place. Because even I almost forgot while I was watching it. I was like, man, maybe they don't see him. Maybe we just see him as the watcher, because they show that table a couple times, the guy with the thing. No, like BB-8 tells them, like, hey, I found the guy. They run over, they see him. That's when they get arrested, and they're like, you know what? We'll take this guy that's like just some random criminal that just broke out of jail. We'll take him instead. I'd be like, no! Like, you literally had one job and you did it wrong. Like, that is the dumbest thing ever. You're literally trying to save, like, apparently the rest of the resistance, and you're just like, we'll take a gamble. It's just like, no, you morons! Like, it makes no sense. And then, once again, down to my thing that there's just quotes in this movie and not real interactions, is the dumb thing that Rose says when she's just like, I love this disgusting beautiful planet or something. I hate this like disgusting,
this wonderfully beautiful place or some shit like that.
What? Like, nobody talks like that. Like,
I didn't put it in my notes because I was just like, I don't care.
Like, it's insane to me how bad this is. Like, it just makes no sense. And then you're like, they meet these kids and they have like these horses things.
Oh, the Faithers.
Well, and for one, the CG looks horrible.
Agreed.
It's just super bad. And I brought this up to my brother as I was like, I feel like, especially Last Jedi, or actually I think even all of them, they're also just like vendettas against each other for the different directors.
They're
think literally
so.
Like, you did a thing, I'm gonna make fun of it. You did a thing, I'm gonna say that's dumb. And you're like, so that's why even like there had to be the people riding horse things, because J.J. Abrams was like, I'm gonna use practical effects, and you're like,
I feel like it was
practical
a rap
effects
battle.
are better, but you're just doing this just because Rian Johnson did that.
I feel like it was a rap battle. J.J. Abrams made one verse, and Rian Johnson was just like, hey, let me spit out some facts.
Let me hate on your whole entire movie and hate on Star Wars.
It's like a petty schoolyard fight, but
it's that's even beyond why I think these should be just like thrown out and we should start with new ones. I was like, clearly I think people would go and watch them.
Yeah.
So like, just start new 7, 8, and 9s. Like, get George Lucas on the phone. Be like, hey, we're actually gonna listen to you this time. We're gonna make a better movie.
Shit, you can make it with the same fucking cast too.
Yeah.
Except for Leia, sadly.
Yeah. Which
I don't know. Maybe Harrison Ford wouldn't re-up as Han because I don't.
Yeah. I think he kind of wanted to die. Which,
but they could kill him properly.
Yeah. Like, I still, like, you could make both of them dead. Like, it's more maybe Luke raising their kids or something like that.
Luke and Chewbacca, the gay couple we never knew we needed.
That's also, like, I kept hoping for Phasma, which I guess we'll get to Phasma just being thrown away, is like, she should have been a cool character. And I kept hoping, in the hopes of hopes, that she was actually, now I'm going to forget her name, is the woman that Luke actually, like, marries. Oh my gosh, what is her name?
Come on, nerd. You're supposed to know this shit.
Dang, this sucks. But he basically...
Fucking poser.
Yeah.
He's a poser, guys.
He, like, marries someone that used to be, like, a part of the Empire. And, like, teaches her the Force and everything, too. And...
help with sex.
Yeah. And so I'm like, maybe she's actually, like, undercover. Because even in the first movie, she gives up that information way too easily. So I'm like, well, maybe she's actually just doing that because she wants to, like, help out the Resistance. And, but...
Nah, she dead.
Yeah.
She dead, son.
Just another character, like, who gives a shit? Like,
you think they use the Force to, like, I don't know, for sexual purposes, play with each other's assholes or something?
Probably.
Give, like, that Force... You think Kylo is just like... Ray, use the Force, and Ray's over just fucking Force stroking.
Yeah, that happened all the time.
Bro, I'd do that with my Force Skype calls.
That happened in the final scene.
That's
of
what.
Rise of Skywalker.
That's what was on his hand. That wasn't rain.
Oh.
God, I might be retarded. I laughed at BB-8's fucking penny Gatling gun that he takes out the guard, but I was just like, this is kind of retarded.
Well, and I laughed, like, with the really drunk guy, like, putting coins in him anyways.
That one, I was just like, I only like it because BB-8's the cutest thing to ever exist. But, honestly, I didn't really care about that. So, you mentioned the fucking kids, and I had a field day with these guys. Did Rose just let a bunch of those fucking Faither horse thingies and leave the child labor slaves behind?
She's just like, we only care about animals. I'm
fucking is Rose part of fucking PETA?
Yeah, like literally, like. And the thing is I hate too in movies when they try to depict things are like, this is how horse racing is, and like actually like horses from horse racing, especially nowadays, are like pampered to hell. Like
Yeah.
those things are taken care of like crazy. So you're trying to be like trying to make like a movement kind of thing that you're just like, oh, this stuff is just horrible, and you're like, there's literally kids that are like slaves, and you just forget about them, and instead save the horses that are probably like given everything.
Like, not to mention,
Like, even those shocks are probably more humane than using like the whip. Yeah.
So, and to make this real life comparison, these are either like born and raised in captivity and everything, most likely. So, wouldn't releasing them?
Yeah, they're probably gonna die.
Be pointless.
Yeah,
well, they're going like, to either die or they're just going to be recaptured.
Not to also get canceled by PETA, but PETA has done that many times in the past of releasing things and then they just die because PETA doesn't realize that like once a thing has lived in captivity for too long, it's not useful in the wild. Or they like try to save a thing and then they realize, oh man, it's impossible to like take care of all this stuff, so we'll just euthanize all of them and kill them. You're like, wow, you found out a better life than what they could just have had.
Well, I'm like, I don't like children.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still.
You could have freed them as well. Yeah. You could have maybe they could go run and hide somewhere. They
could have jumped on like the rest of the horses that were there.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Instead, the little kid just gets yelled at and like beaten.
Yeah.
After. Like, he has no real life anymore anyways, because they're probably just going to kill those kids. Like, even it doesn't matter that the kid has, like, the Force at the end, because why would they need them if they don't have the horses anymore? Also, they're probably just going to put those kids down.
Why the fuck do they have human slaves when it would be cheaper, more efficient, better, just 1,000 times better to have fucking droids do this work?
So...
This is a planet of rich people. Why the fuck don't they use a droid?
So, there's a book that I just read from Star Wars that has like the same kind of thing. It's like, I think it's called like Master and Apprentice. It's about Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan, and this same thing happens. Like, Obi-Wan is like, why don't they just use droids instead of slaves? Because he's like, they're kind of going against like this main like slave thing, and the excuse is kind of dumb. I think it's like it's easier to just control these things, and there's no way for them to like malfunction and anything. You basically just like feed them and they just keep going.
You know what you don't need to feed?
Robots.
A droid.
You just need to fix them, I guess.
Hey, you know what doesn't? Well, I mean, droids can malfunction, but you know what else malfunctions? Finn and the planet of fucking people that defected from the First Order in the 9th movie of the fucking trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can't use that one. Well, the planet of people, the planet of defectors, but Finn still defects. I don't want to use anything.
Oh, yeah, actually,
I don't want to use that because the movie came out after this. So.
I remember the main line too that you learn then later is why they do it is because they don't have to pay for the slaves really. So these people,
you have to pay for food.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, you know how you'd have to pay to like even buy a robot? Well, technically these things, like these things, the slaves,
these things.
Terrible.
It's okay. Their skin was white. You're not getting in trouble for this one.
So at this planet,
no, one of them was black. Never mind. I canceled. You're fired.
On this planet that they're in the book and everything is that they use it by, they basically like trick this planet to being like, all of your people that you condemn to crimes, basically your prisoners, just become our slaves.
Okay.
And then on top of that, because we own that person for the rest of their life, if they ever have a child, that's also our slave.
Okay.
So they never really like, they have no like overhead in robot purchasing. They literally just are like, we'll just have an endless supply of your prisoners.
That's
forever.
That's a neat system.
Yeah.
In anything where droids don't exist and would just be the better laborers because they work much harder, more efficiently, they don't need food or sleep or any of this other shit. If this was like any other thing, that would be a super cool thing of lore. That'd be neat. Yeah. But Star Wars, you got fucking robots.
Yeah.
You have robots that can lift more than
and-
any human could ever achieve.
Also, Obi-Wan then breaks into like their ship and is like fighting things. Guess what the things he's fighting are?
Things.
Robots.
I was really hoping Obi-Wan just kills a bunch of young slave children.
Like, so literally they have like everything else that like runs the ship and like is like guarding the ship is a robot. So they trust them to do all that shit, but they don't have them just doing the work. But hey, then you break down more into the Star Wars universe is, why does anyone have a job then?
That's a fair enough point.
Like, these robots can do like anything. So even when you cut to like any single person, except for like people that are like smugglers or whatever, when you cut to like any single person, they have a job, you're just like, why? You just have a robot.
Also,
like, even slaves built a robot. Because Anakin Skywalker built
3PO.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just feel like this is a massive missed opportunity with this planet full of fucking children taken away from their lives and forced into doing something, and this one guy who was taken away from his life and forced into doing something, and I don't know, Finn should have had a massive arc or a role in his arc
like,
or something in this fucking
children.
planet.
Yeah.
And he's just like, we're the good guys.
Yep.
Also, why the fuck do these kids have a concept of the good guys or not? Like, the good guys have been in control for the last 30 years, and you guys you are not the good guys. You're
clearly you're letting this happen.
So like,
that's a big thing too in that book of like why the Jedi still let slavery happen, and Qui-Gon doesn't want it to happen, but the Jedi Order is like, there's things we don't get into, and he's like, it's literally taking people's lives and just like, you own a person's life. He's like, that's not right. And then even Yoda's like, we cannot do anything about this, and he's just like, that's fucked up.
Fifth of 3. Best offer I give. But it's really sad that Finn doesn't really, he's a passive character for this entire arc at Canto Bight, and this should be like the bulk of his arc going forward, like, and it would have played out really great because, you know, Finn's whole arc really seems to be morality and the effects on both sides. Yeah. You know, the good guys aren't good.
Yeah,
the bad guys aren't bad.
Yeah, learns that with the wrong cracker.
DJ, the code breaker?
Yeah.
Oh.
That sounded super weird.
Andy's just saying racist and horrible things today.
Even about myself.
This movie's gotten to him.
Yeah. It's brought out the anger and hatred.
Finn during the Canto Bight.
Dark side.
So Finn's a pacifist. Like, I feel like that, for the most part, Finn tries to avoid fighting in most of these movies.
He kills a lot of.
Oh yeah, he does kill a lot, but Finn has what I call video game character syndrome, where cutscenes he's one thing, but in gameplay he's a complete opposite.
Yeah, it's like The Last of Us.
Yeah, he seems
revenge, don't kill people, but murder people like crazy.
That's a video for a different day.
Yes.
He seems to be built up as like more of a pacifist character. He'd rather avoid fighting. Maybe you could call that cowardly, but so why didn't he free these children? There wasn't even a fight needed to do so. You could just like, you're free, run into the night, little guys.
Yeah, like why? Like, it literally would have taken like no extra effort to save them.
But they like give it to him with this dumbass line about how he was getting back at them. That shows him. But like, what are you getting revenge for? What are you doing? You didn't do anything. You trashed this town.
Yeah.
Where
they have a ton of money and they'll just do it, and they'll force those kids to just repair it.
They're probably going to beat the shit out of these children to clean up your mess. You didn't accomplish anything. You shouldn't feel like a hero.
Yeah.
This isn't a feel-good fucking moment.
That whole entire, like, that is the... I would maybe rank the greatest train wreck in, like, movie history is that whole entire part of that world, on that casino world.
On top of it, hold on. On top of it, he's an ex-fucking janitor.
Yeah.
He's the guy who cleans up shit like this. And he's doing it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because it's not like those people are going to clean up it or anything. Like, it's just like...
Like, you are the guy who cleans up other people's messes. Why are you making this mess if you're supposed to be sympathetic?
Yeah.
You talk about Tony being a dick. Look
Yeah.
at Finn.
Well, and then... Okay. So, one of the other big gripes with all of these sequel movies, let's get to, like, a broader scope here, is that basically they just copy the old movies. They just copy 4, 5, and 6. So, this world is literally just supposed to be the Sky City, where Lando Calrissian is.
Yeah.
So, the reason why that has an impact...
I thought it was Cloud City.
Cloud City, yes. Yeah.
Proof that I'm a real nerd, and he's not.
So, in Cloud City, the reason why they go there is because Han Solo's like, I've got a friend here that might be able to help us out. He's very, like, powerful and everything, so...
Psych, bitch.
Let's go and see what he can do. So, when Lando Calrissian, Han Solo's said friend, is, like, going to help him when he betrays him, you're like, oh my gosh, like Lando's supposed to be his friend. Why did he call Darth Vader and stuff and turn them over? Like, that blows your mind. But when two morons pick the wrong guy and then go on this mission, and then they're like, oh, like, I can't believe you did this. Like,
also, he's a guy that they found in prison.
yes, and you're like, you can't be shocked. You did this. Like, you're the ones that were dumb enough to be like, we're not going to follow what Miles Kanata told us. We're just going to get some random guy that's a criminal. Like, yes, I also know that they got arrested at the time, but this guy's way sketchy, and you're just like, we're still not going to do the right job, and we're going to risk all these people's lives, and we're just going to be pieces of crap. This is going to be great.
Why did Codebreaker even come back for them?
Oh,
the Codebreaker appears at the cliffs when they're about to be captured.
I think he just knew that they were going to be money. Like, he literally just... I think he even already had this plan of, like, betraying them. He was like, well, I know that they're resistance. I know that they need me to break into this thing. So, really, they could pay me for that, because the resistance can pay me. But, if I do just turn them over to the First Order, then I'll also get paid.
I don't...
Screw them!
Like, yeah, but you know what the movie needs to do? It needs to establish that.
Yeah,
this is complete speculation.
Yeah, like, even if he, like, called ahead or something that, like, hey, we got,
well, now he's making fun
resistance.
of people with stutters.
Hey, this is how the guy talks.
Oh, he does.
I'm trying to act like him. And then he just calls them up and, like, tells them that, like, hey, there's resistance people coming. Like, just be ready. Because also... when did he tell them? Because it seemed like it was his idea to trap them, like, ambush.
No. The black BB-8 unit thingy.
Oh, that's what
spots
was supposed
them,
to get them?
Yeah, it tells them. I think he does it off screen because
then why the hell
there's the scene where they're captured in the Lightspeed tracker room, and then they're brought into, like, the hangar bay.
Yeah.
And I think that it was, like, the transition between then is when he snitches.
But then, like, what's even the benefit of him snitching and them paying him? What does he tell them?
Did they pay him? I just assumed it was like, hey, you get to leave with your life.
No,
and he was like,
is pushing away, like, a whole cart of stuff, I think.
Oh,
well,
like,
there's a thing there that's, like, this big, like, black, like, shipping container thing, and then he has, like, on, like, stuff, like, basically, like, has stuff thrown over his shoulder and
I
stuff.
just know he tells them that, hey, the resistance is fleeing the radius in small drop pods.
Yeah.
And apparently they couldn't fucking see it with their eyes. But we're getting ahead of ourselves again.
Radar and stuff.
So Luke force spies on a sleeping Leia. And this is to show that he's reconnected with the Force. Like,
yeah, I guess.
I figured, because there's a line where it's like, oh, you've completely cut yourself off from the Force.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that line made us like, oh, maybe this is like a arc. It's for something for Luke. He has to build up, get back in. No, he's just like, flip the switch, force back on.
Which it should be by like lore. Like, it doesn't really like. The only person that had like a tough time was because he actually like his brain was wiped. But there's other Jedi that have cut themselves off from the Force and then come back and they're like crazy powerful. So
still, I don't know. I just thought it was going to be a bigger deal when they dropped the line, "You've cut yourself off from the Force." I just feel like that should have been a big. It's just like, nah, I'm back in tune with the Force. Look, I'm a spy on my unconscious sister. That's painting it in a really negative light. I think I'm poisoning the well with that
stepbrother.
one.
Oh my gosh, have you like? This is gonna be a side tangent. Someone showed me like the funniest thing of one of those. It's this girl like climbing up a step ladder, and then
that falls
off,
over.
And the step ladder comes in, and she's like, "No, step ladder."
Yeah, I shared that on Facebook before.
It's so amazing. Oh my gosh.
So is it me, or when Kylo Ren turns around and he's fucking shirtless and built like a Minecraft character?
Yeah.
He's literally built like a brick shit house. Is it me, or is Rey like kind of look like she's like,
Yeah, because she's even
she's
like
admiring him,
turning
like,
away, but she's kind of like looking back.
So
I think
like,
they are supposed to be like trying to make them like they're trying to be a couple.
But like, I don't feel like that works. I don't. This man just killed your surrogate father figure, and you're out here like,
and his own father,
taking little peeks.
There's been some weird stuff in history. Like, I think is it Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, there's tons of women like trying to throw themselves at him, even though he was like a serial killer. So maybe
that's a lot of serial killers. Go to
maybe
Tumblr.
Rey's just weird.
That shit makes
she's just a Tumblr girl.
That shit makes him moist.
Yeah.
She's never had this feeling before, being moist on a desert.
You killed your father? Oh.
It takes daddy issues to a new fucking level.
Yeah.
Here's another very long point. I think this one's about Luke again.
No wonder.
It's revealed that Luke tried to kill Kylo in his sleep. Luke, the man who refused to kill Darth fucking Vader while fighting him, has tried to assassinate his sleeping nephew. The only assassination is the assassination of Luke Skywalker. It's character assassination at its finest. God, apparently I love the word assassination.
Mm-hmm.
They also never develop how/why that pushed Kylo to the dark side. Like, yes, that's a harrowing and horrible experience. But he just ups and betrays his parents, even kills Han, who have nothing to do with, quote-unquote, Luke's actions, and it doesn't connect. His worldviews don't connect with his idolization of Vader, which isn't featured anywhere as heavily in this film.
Yeah, and don't you think, like, there should have been more of a connection even to that with Luke? Like, that Luke already knew that he was trying to, like, research Vader a lot or something. Like, not just that Snoke was, like, reaching out to him, but that maybe he had already, like, a fascination with Vader during that time?
No.
Yeah, apparently not.
Ben Solo was a kid when, Adam Driver still looked like a fucking adult, but we're going to say Ben Solo was a kid when Luke tried to murder him.
But
and the act of
17 or 18 or something.
Yeah, but the act of a youngling about to be cut down by a lightsaber, Ben was just like, bro, that sounds kind of like that Anakin nigga.
Yeah.
And then he started looking in and he became infatuated. That's how that happened.
So really, he loves Luke because he thought Luke was like him.
Bro, people who admire serial killers are weird, okay? Yeah. We don't need to go. I don't got a fucking WebMD page pulled up right now. I can't tell you what's going on inside.
That must be Ryan Johnson's fetish.
Snoke's appearance in Kylo's life doesn't really connect to that. Like, how did he just come out of this man almost murdering his nephew? We don't see anything else about Kylo, so he's just incomplete, and he's less cool now. That's professional film critic review right there.
Well, it's also like, how did throwing a whole house down on Luke not also like
Cut him in half because of his lightsaber being ignited at the moment.
well, and like it's a building that you're also in.
It's the power of youth.
It's like, and then when you weren't planning on doing this, correct? Like, Kylo wasn't ready to kill all of these Jedi. He's trying to say that it was just Luke turning, like, going to try to kill him. So then he somehow pulled together all the rest of these people to murder every single person, and then Luke still didn't get up in time. Like,
Kylo's a school shooter, confirmed.
yeah, but I mean, like, aren't these people, like, living in different, like, other huts like this? Like, you're telling me that no one had the time to be like, hey, maybe we should use some of our Jedi training and lightsabers.
No,
like...
they all just ran out. They heard the hut collapse, and all of them just
okay.
ran out in their sleeping gowns and night robes,
just
whatever
walked
the
over
fucking.
and he killed them all.
Yeah, and Kylo was just like, and then
Just the
whatever
youngling...
ones didn't die.
Just the youngling thing again.
Yeah, whatever ones didn't die, they were just like,
Master-
wait, don't. I'll suck your dick, nigga. Don't kill me. And he was like, all right.
Master Ben,
You can live. You won't become my Knights of Ren or anything, but you can live.
what should we do?
But there's no progression in his character. It's just bad event equal evil. Why'd he kill half of Luke's Padawans? Like, you don't get an answer for it.
I feel like even that is just like some weird allegory to, like, everyone likes to go back to like Bible-y stories.
I thought you were going to say killing youngins.
No, it's like an easy thing of basically using the Bible as like an easy context, because like, yeah, they don't explain what happened to the rest of those like Sith or whatever leave, but like it's just like the thing of like, oh, when Lucifer fell, he took like 1/3 of the angels, and you're just like, it's like a thing just to say, like, you're not like
I guess that's a surface level kind of cool connection.
It's just like even characters coming back to life, like Jesus and stuff. It's like easy ways to like write stuff and everything.
Leia Organa is Jesus Christ, confirmed.
Yep. So.
I like Kylo's "Let the past die, kill it if you have to" line.
Yeah.
I feel, God, I'm a fucking cunt. It's fitting for a movie about tarnishing the greatness of its predecessors. I'm a sassy little tartar sauce, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
I do like the line though. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
Maybe not having a serial killer be the one to say it might allow it to have some more strength.
And it's just like,
or oomph.
It's just another quote. Like, it's like none of their interactions feel like things people say to each other. Like, there's just like another weird, here's a couple quotes I'll say.
It sounds cool, at least.
Yeah.
I'd fucking soundbite that. Rey gets a flaw acknowledgement in her seeking of parental, primarily father, figures. Only thing is, it's never really treated like a flaw in the movie. It's just said, hey, this is your flaw. Rey problem. How does a desert dweller who has moments ago been astonished by the sight of so much water know how to swim?
Yeah. Thought about that one.
If the watery abyss thingy, like that big ass hole, is supposed to be a symbol of the dark side of the Force, or the Sith, wouldn't her inability to swim and her struggle only strengthen this visual metaphor and her character that she might be capable of falling to the dark side? That
metaphor made nothing at all to me.
Well, it could have.
I've even looked stuff up to be like, someone explain this to me. And it's supposed to be some kind of vision of like seeing that she's always like the same, like it's always just going to be just her. She's like always going to be alone or something.
Well, I just meant like the water part. I'm not even like the echo.
Yeah, I'm saying like once she gets there to like that metaphor to like meaning, that's what I guess it's supposed to mean. And I don't get that at all. It's just dumb. Like, I'm like, literally Luke's metaphor was cutting off Darth Vader's head and it ended up being his face. And you're like, oh, what could that mean? Oh yeah, it's because you're your dad. and don't turn to the dark side. Like, it's like pretty easy that like you get that one, but like hers makes no sense. Like, I get the one in
here we go, fake nerd forgetting shit again.
Rise of Skywalker, when she sees like her future self, like basically if she becomes like the next Sith Lord.
Oh, you mean that dumbass edited thing that they made for the fucking commercial?
Like where she has like the
fucking
thing?
discount Darth Maul blade?
No, she actually, like, in the book they explain that like so much more, and that's actually the blade she was at the very beginning of the movie it was supposed to be, is she was trying to make that lightsaber. And just don't put that in the
Which,
movie.
you know, yeah, that would be cool. She's a bow staff user, so she's trying to make a lightsaber bow.
Even that kind of like annoyed me, because I was like, well, that also proves that she's not a good Jedi, because she should have just still made, because like basically at the end of the book then too, they're like, well, she still doesn't make that kind of lightsaber, she just makes a regular lightsaber because she doesn't like want that future. But I'm like, that's fear, and fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hatred, and hatred leads to the dark side.
Do it. But I just thought, you know, she's from a desert. Her natural enemy is water. Just let her struggle to swim.
Yeah.
And then you could even have like something that connects to the next scene of her trying to find her parents, where like she senses or feels this hand that reaches down to try and grab her, and I don't know, you can make the hand visually distinct enough that you're like, it's not Han, it's not Luke.
Yeah.
It might be her father.
Which would even make more sense than the stupid wall thing, if she just got lost in the water and she's like almost dying, and then maybe Luke saves her, so he has like one maybe redeeming moment.
That would also work. It would give Luke something to do other than be a inconsistent cunt waffle.
Yeah.
So, I guess this goes to what you just said. Why'd Rey ask the weird void thingy about herself and her parents? How did she even leave that place? Because she fell into a hole into water. I mean, I guess she could just force jump, maybe. Looking back at that question, it's kind of stupid, but whatever. I'm still asking it.
She doesn't really know how to do anything. She just magically figures stuff out.
Why is she trying to bring Kylo back to the light? Rey and Kylo are nothing like Luke and Vader, so it's just nonsensical. They should...
Yeah.
I mean,
she knows nothing about him.
Maybe not hate each other, but Rey should hate him.
Yeah.
Maybe you could argue that Kylo doesn't have a reason to hate her, maybe unless he's holding a grudge for getting his ass kicked.
I guess that's why they're supposed to have, like... And they didn't build on it, but it's supposed to be like a romantic relationship somehow because of their connection.
But that
they
sucks.
Don't ever build on it. Like, but I'm saying that's the only thing we can kind of hope for, because since everyone really wanted her to be like Luke Skywalker's daughter or something like that, and that didn't happen, so she doesn't have like a family thing to like care about him. So it's just kind of like, yeah,
why can't they just be enemies?
Empty. Yeah.
Why not just have them fight?
Because they have to have a redemption arc.
You know what? You could use this to redeem Luke. Maybe she's like, I want to kill him. Grrr. And Luke's like, no, that anger and stuff, that's the gateway to the Sith. Yeah. Forgive him. And the whole thing that Luke's trying to teach is that there is light in Kylo, and you should forgive him. And then Rey's like, all right, mentor person, I'm going to forgive him.
Even Luke, I think, even says, there's no light in him
anymore. Yeah.
And
Luke's just a cunt.
Dude, like, what the hell? Like,
Luke's like, I'll kill my nephew in a heartbeat,
You saw it in your father, and your father literally was, like, the darkest person ever, and, like, murdered children and, like, whole planets of people. Like, he was a part of, like, the slaughter of all the Wookiees. Like, your dad's that guy. Like,
your dad's goth Hitler, bro.
Yeah.
And you're like, I believe.
You're like, yeah.
He
loves me.
He doesn't even...